Hello again and welcome to another video from the Marketing Study Guide. In this video I'm going to answer the question whether age groups are a good way to segment a market. Now, as you probably know, age segmentation is a very common approach. I saw it a lot from my students, but is it a good approach? Is it a helpful way of segmenting a market? Now, as we know, these are the main ways of segmenting a market, the big bases. And the second one there is demographic. And under demographic, we're going to find age groups. Demographics are measures and characteristics of a population. Often countries or governments will conduct census and they will measure the population by asking a survey and getting people to fill in forms, either physically or online these days. And a lot of this information is captured. What age are you? Who's in your family? What's the family structure? Education levels, etc. And we can get that information quite easily. So to answer whether age groups are valuable or not, I'm going to first look at demographics overall. What are the reasons for using demographic bases and what are the reasons against? One of the big advantages is it's so simple to define. How old are you? What's your level of occupation, level of education, income range? Pretty clear and cut. And because the government's doing it, it's done statistically. It's valid. It's published somewhere, and many governments will allow you to access at least some of the data for free. And often it's online. So you're in marketing. You're told to do some segments. You jump on your computer, access the government statistics, and within a couple of hours, you've constructed, segments of the population based on demographics. If we're a bit more sophisticated, we can build that into our other bases of behavioral or psychographic and create richer segments, or we could profile existing segments rather than creating segments, and build out some detail and some color to our segments. However, there are a number of limitations on using demographics. Firstly is we're describing a population characteristics, age, income, occupation, whatever. We know nothing about them as a consumer. We're in marketing. We want to know how they operate in the marketplace. This is not going to tell us. If we just pick something like age groups or wealthy people and poor people, they're quite generic segments, very simplistic in terms of current day marketing, and potentially we may end up with the same segments to our competitors and have the same target market definitions. Now, segmentation targeting is actually an analytical approach, and there's a bit of art and a bit of skill to it. And if we do it differently, we can actually create a competitive advantage by having information and insights that allow us to look at the market differently. So jumping at something simple is not going to give us that. It's based on an assumption that all consumers or people with the same characteristics have similar needs. So I'm going to explore that in the next couple of slides. But generally, if we use demographic, it's probably not powerful by itself. We probably need to add another segmentation base. And it was a very popular segmentation for a long time because it was the advantages listed on the foresight. But now we have access to a lot more data, and online companies are able to capture its behaviors and paint psychographic profiles. So we have a lot more rich information about consumers. So it's probably drifting in its importance. But let's get back to our original question. Should I be using age segmentation? The answer is it depends. Sometimes, but usually not. So let's explore why. Age segmentation is fantastic when we have an age that defines a change of life, a transition. And that change of life triggers needs. So I've just got some examples here. It may vary slightly culturally, but these are general rules of thumb. So around 18, people leave school. they either go to college, university, or get a job. So suddenly they may be living somewhere else, transport, things change for these people. 5 years later or so, after they've finished or they've established a bit of a career, they might be looking to buy their first car or motorbike or other vehicle, something like that. Late 20s, 30s, usually people have some relationships, and some people are getting married and starting a family, and that triggers a whole bunch of needs that they never had before. And maybe late 50s, late 60s, around that age, there's a movement to retirement, and then there's more time and there's more things to think about, etc. So all of these things will trigger lifestyle changes, which will change consumer needs for these people. Okay, so therefore, my age segmentation is effective. Okay, I've got these points here. Not everybody will follow these patterns. Some people will not do these things at these times, and as you can see, they will be relevant for some product categories in some industries, but not others. So I've got the point here that age segmentation, when it's the only one used in a segment profile, it's a little bit hit and miss. Sometimes it's helpful, and sometimes it's just too broad and unhelpful. So it's not a particularly powerful one outside of certain industries. Okay, and I've got here, it's better used as a segmentation base if you're using other bases. Okay, so combining it, and age is a contributor to the overall segment profile. Now, to make sense of what I've just said, I'll give you a simple example. Here we have two people who are 35. If I just look at age, they're identical. They're a match. They're in the same segment. But as I add information, one's male, one's female. Okay, but they're still 35. They're probably similar. Oh, okay, the guy finished high school only. The lady's got college degree. Okay, maybe a little bit different. Oh, this guy, married, kids, still single. Okay, lives in the rural area, lives in the city. They are a different segment. They will have different needs, different purchasing patterns, etc. If I rely on age only, I'm going to miss all this detail. And there could be a bunch of things under here, psychographics, behaviors, etc. These people, just because they're the same age, have very little in common. Okay, so if we use age segmentation, essentially what we're doing is we're relying upon a generalization, which may or may not be true. So here's an example for a fitness center or a gym. So they might go, oh gee, let's target people in their 20s and teens, etc. And what they're most interested in is physically looking good. Oh, let's target people, in their 30s and 40s. They're married, they've got kids, they go to the gym, they want to get a break, they've worked hard, they need a break from work, it's a good place to catch up, socialize, etc. And older people, 50 plus or so, they have health problems, they need physical therapy. So in summary, what is my answer? Yes, we can use age because this is our generic demographic thing before. It's simple, it's easy, it's fast. All that, tick, tick, tick. If the segments are not important, if it's something we just got to put together quickly as it's just a starting point, fantastic. If we build upon it, we add combination, we profile, fantastic. Okay? And if there's a logical life stage, fantastic, let's use it. Other than that, it is a bit dangerous. Most people may not follow that pattern. As I show you those two examples, those two 35-year-olds were quite different. We know nothing about them other than their age. It's too simplistic. And as with the gym example, the fitness center, we're assuming that all 20-year-olds have the same needs. All people in 30s and 40s, same needs. That is really unlikely. Okay, so unless you are desperate, and that's all you have to work with, or unless you have an industry where there is a clear something happens at a certain age group and that triggers the demand for your product, that's fine. Outside of that, I would strongly suggest we work down here and use it as an additional piece of information to form our segments. So hopefully that's helpful. There's lots more videos I have on segmentation, etc. Please check them out.